Mass Effect 4 is a game.
Is your agency using WordPress to build websites? That's like
I mention is that I have a big update. This is the point of the video. Subscribestar was able to pay me out, and it's my understanding that they've been able to pay out many other people. So for those that are concerned about the Patreon issue, PayPal, all that stuff, Subscribestar paid out. It's good news. My understanding now is they don't currently have a payment processor for taking in donations yet, but it seems like Subscribestar might actually, they may make it. I don't know for sure. As of right now, those who have donated to me through that service, I've been able to receive donations. It's greatly appreciated. And the other thing I'll just mention lightly is that it's very appreciated because my computer broke, and I'm doing this all on a laptop, so it's, you know, it's going to be pretty stressful. But there's some other issues related to what's going on with Patreon, PayPal, MasterCard, etc. I'm sure many of you have been following these stories over the past couple weeks, and it's been pretty scary. There's one old story that we've talked about a while ago. You know, what I have pulled up here is specifically about Gab and Bitcoin, but before I do mention that, I want to... I want to bring up one particularly important story, and actually, let me, do I have that pulled up? Yes, okay, so I just want to do a real quick update for those that aren't familiar. There's a man named Robert Spencer, and apparently, this is from a Bitcoin website. I'm bringing this up specifically because Bitcoin is also not safe, and we're going to talk about that. The story says, citing an email from a company in August, Robert Spencer, who penned multiple books about countering jihad and advised law enforcement agencies, said it had axed him, and he could no longer put contributed funds to any use. I've been axed from Patreon without explanation, warning, or notice. No doubt as part of the ongoing efforts of the left to deny all platforms to those who reject its agenda, he wrote on Twitter. To those who supported me there, thank you, and I'm sorry we couldn't follow through on plans. Responding publicly, Patreon denied that it had chosen to ban Spencer, alleging that unfortunately MasterCard required it to remove his account. You've probably heard this, but this is it's a really important point in this entire story, in that, you know, MasterCard and Visa are essentially the global currency, right? I have a lot of libertarian friends. They talk about, you know, it used to be a big conspiracy about a one world currency or a North American currency, and they talk about how the euro was a trial, and they wanted to be a Mero and all this stuff, and I said, look, that's not true, okay? Because there's a reason to have different currencies for different economic blocks, but Visa and MasterCard can be used anywhere, right? They're the main intermediaries for most transactions. They are the linchpin. So when MasterCard, which does have terms of service, says that you can't use its service, you're cut out. And there was one story I heard online about this guy who apparently couldn't use MasterCard or Discover and could only use Visa. And there's some other stories I've heard about people who can't use either. And so they're effectively shut out from everything. There are places now, like in New York, they don't take cash. And think about where that's going to lead us, okay? A society without cash is dangerous because why would we have a private multinational billion-dollar corporation determining who can or can't spend money? What's the old saying? Give me control of the money and I care not who makes its laws. The famous quote, I believe that was from Rothschild, I'm not entirely sure. But that's where we're headed. We're literally heading into a place where a private company, MasterCard, Visa, Discover, and these other transaction companies are going to say, you know what? You can't use our service, therefore you're cut off the economy. And it falls back into that same narrative we hear time and time again from many people on the left, where they're like, well then just don't use their company, go use a different one. But you see why this doesn't work. When Twitter bans someone, and you see people on the left say, so if Twitter can do whatever they want, they're a private company. It's like, yes, but you realize there's a reason why we have antitrust laws. I don't understand how people who are supposedly on the left are in favor of these massive monopolies. It doesn't make sense to me, because as someone who's social liberal, I believe in antitrust laws and monopolies are bad, and thus when I see that Twitter has a monopoly on internet political discourse, it's extremely dangerous. But it's not that bad, admittedly, right? So Twitter bans you. Actually, it might be good for your mental health. Get off Twitter. But what happens when MasterCard bans you? Yeah, now you're screwed. But the main point of this video that I want to get into is that it actually extends to a much bigger problem. So the first thing I had pulled up, obviously, is from Gab. Now, I don't care if you're a fan of Gab or not. That's not the issue, right? This issue has affected white nationalist sites and other fringe political groups. And the problem is that the cliff erodes, right? First, we heard that domain name service providers like DNS for buying your .com were banning the Daily Stormer. And there were a lot of people, myself included, who were saying that's a really bad idea, it's really dangerous to have companies like Google effectively seize these domains. Look, I don't like those people, I don't like what they do. The problem is, we don't want to give unrestrained authority to massive corporations who are unaccountable, because these companies effectively work like dictatorships. Right? There's no voting. You as a user of Google don't get to vote and determine what they do. You do it or you don't. And when they have a monopoly on the system, they can take your website down, they can take your payments away. And then you're effectively gone from the system because the system is relying so heavily on the internet. Some people have mentioned an internet bill of rights. I don't know if that's the answer, but I will say this. As the economy becomes increasingly connected into the internet, right? We're at a point now where it's without the internet, how can you even function? Well, what happens then when payment processors, when DNS, when data centers, hosting companies say, we're cutting you off? You're done. Now, a lot of people said Bitcoin, and that brings me to the point with Gab. As predicted, the on-ramps and off-ramps exchanges are going to start censoring not only companies, but also individuals. Coinbase has now banned both Gab's merchant account and Andrew Torba's personal account. Decentralized exchanges are the future. And Gab posted this image where it said, well, I'll just pull it up. Unfortunately, we had to close your Coinbase account. Before your account can be closed, you will need to withdraw your digital currency and then, give some basic, here's what you got to do before your account gets closed. Andrew Torba, founder of Gab, his personal account has been closed. Now, we don't know why, but is this at all surprising to anyone, okay? If we know that at a certain level, MasterCard and Visa are determining that some people should be unpersoned, that should be alarming to everybody. Yet for some reason, it's the conservatives who tend to be opposed to regulation are ringing the alarm bells, and the left, which is typically in favor of regulation, it's not that either side is or isn't. No, it's just I'm just speaking in generalities. The left is supposed to be the one saying big business, monopolies, corporations are bad. And here you have them cheering this on. Where are the liberals of 10 years ago who were in favor of free speech, who wanted to break up these big monopolies? I don't see them anywhere. So this actually gets a lot worse. Gab noted on their Twitter account, right, that archive.is, which is the most notable archiving site. I use it for various reasons, for saving, certain files that may be deleted or certain pages could be deleted. They tweeted, please do not use archive.is. Archive.is mirror for linking. Use other mirrors. .today, FO, LI, VN, MD, PHIS they said IS might stop. Mirror for link, archive.is mirror. Most notable archiving site. I use it. I don't see them anywhere. So this actually gets a lot worse. Gab noted on their Twitter account, right, that archive.is, which is the most notable archiving site. I use it for various reasons, for saving, certain files that might be deleted or certain pages could be deleted. They tweeted, please do not use archive.is. Archive.is mirror for linking. Use other mirrors. .today, FO, LI, VN, MD, PHIS. They said IS might stop working soon. One user asked why, and they said something strange is going on at IS and IC. They asked to prove the address. I do, and they respond that the domain will be deleted in 30 days. It looks much like a hostile takeover by some experienced domain name traders. Okay, so the reason I'm kind of jumping to this is that there was an issue I talked about a while ago about how the internet economy is a chain. It's a giant circle. It doesn't matter if Patreon bans you, okay? Because MasterCard can ban you. PayPal.
This is exactly what happens when you ask the water.
And there's these different layers. MasterCard can ban you. PayPal can ban you. And there's these different layers, right? So you sign up for Patreon. That's all you do. You say, Patreon, I'm going to use your service. Patreon then says to PayPal, we're going to use your service. PayPal then says to MasterCard, we're going to use your service. MasterCard then says to their various banks, we're going to use your service. What happens is, all throughout this chain, any one of these companies can say, you need to get rid of that person because you are in violation of our terms of service. Now, I've talked to some people who, I don't want to say, I did talk to Patreon specifically last year, but I've talked to some other people who work in this area with terms of subscriptions and things like that. And one of the scary things they told me is, and I kind of relate. They said, and I don't want to say who it is, but it's from a social media site, said, if we don't take this person down, this one person, even though we don't agree with it, if we don't take them down, they will take down everyone. And if we have 500,000 users, do we destroy the income of 501? And if we have, media site said, if we don't take, and I can kind of relate, they said, and I don't want to say who it is, but it's from a social media site, said, if we don't take this person down, this one person, even though we don't agree with it, if we don't take them down, they will take down everyone. And if we have 500,000 users, do we destroy the income of 500,000 people over one person? And so ultimately, most of these companies will say, look, just ban the one person. Personally, I disagree with that. You want to know why? If Patreon said, you know what, MasterCard? No, we won't take this person down. What do you think would happen to all of the other accounts on Patreon? The $13 million per month being in transactions. You're going to have a lot of really angry people saying, what happened? And then Patreon says, MasterCard took us down. They forced us to. And what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be a revolt. MasterCard's going to back down. Someone needs to stand up and say, listen, if you are one of two, essentially, you can't just decide someone isn't allowed to send or receive money. That's not fair, okay? And our society shouldn't permit that. Sargon of Akkad wasn't banned because of MasterCard. It was banned because Patreon is scared of MasterCard. In the conversation with Matt Christensen, the Jacqueline Hart of Patreon kept saying, it's the global payment system, we've got to abide by these rules. Right, so it's a fear they have. The reason I bring up Archive today is because Archive today is so notable for those that I mean, for one, it's a great service. Archiving websites make sense. But it's used a lot by people in the culture war, both left and right, so that they can preserve the story and say, here's what was said and here's why. One of the problems with the ever-changing media landscape is that they will update articles without letting you know, okay? And so Archive is extremely important for maintaining this is what was at one point. It now seems like they are under attack, Archive.is being one of the most important. So it's not just about payment, it's about every link in the chain, that at any point one of them can be broken. So Archive.is, totally fine, they don't do anything, they're not supporting any of these groups, but there's still a problem. So what happens? Someone enacts what they believe is a hostile domain takeover, and yeah, if you're smart, you can do it. There's a couple honorable mentions I want to throw in here too, just I think you guys should be aware if you don't. There's a website called the Hacker News, and they were banned from PayPal, and apparently they didn't know why. They said, instead of giving a valid reason, company says specific reasons for such a decision is proprietary, and it's not released since that could impair PayPal's ability to do business in a safe and secure manner. It's true. PayPal can ban whoever they want. However, PayPal dominates the market, so there needs to be something to prevent this. Unfortunately, we come back to the main point. Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson have talked about solutions. They've talked about cryptocurrency. This is just one exchange, Coinbase, and admittedly a lot of people don't like them. But if Coinbase is going to get the same pressure from the global payments network, they will terminate your account to exchange Bitcoin. The issue is, so long as people use USD or other currencies, Bitcoin is partially irrelevant, right? I believe Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general, maybe not just Bitcoin, is going to be extremely important coming into the future. I do. But for now, you can exchange Bitcoin with another person, okay? And if not enough people are interested in taking it or have the ability to, you need USD. So there still needs to be that exchange. But what Coinbase is doing here is one of the biggest, it's going to be one of the most damaging things to Bitcoin, okay? One of the perks of Bitcoin, one of the biggest drivers of people who use Bitcoin is the idea of freedom. That you can, work without restraint and not worry about what these other companies can do. But if the exchanges will prevent you from making those transactions, well, this is disincentivizing people from using Bitcoin. Why would I want to use Bitcoin if other people are being banned from certain services? It reduces the market, the marketability. It reduces the amount of people sharing in this asset, which makes it less. There's less of a reason for me to use it. Coinbase is effectively damaging Bitcoin through all of this. I guess all I can really say is, back to the first thing I brought up, Subscribestar still worked, okay? If they can figure out a different way to take in donations, then we got something here. But so long as we see even Bitcoin is at risk. No, I shouldn't say Bitcoin. Bitcoin's fine. But even if Coinbase, one of these exchanges, start banning people because of MasterCard, then we are literally in a future where the world is controlled by MasterCard and Visa and no one else. Think about that. MasterCard can ban a politician for any reason. They can say, we don't care. We just don't care. Right? They'll ban people for political reasons. And then what is that politician going to do? You can't take donations anymore. You can't run your campaign. Literally, the payment processors control everything. So, the last thing I'll say is the reason this video is a bit more off the cuff is my computer's broken. I got to go get it fixed. I'm stressed out. I haven't slept. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. And I will have more videos on my second channel, youtube.com/TimCastNews, starting at 6 p.m. Stick around.
Who told you were going to be a badass? Little girls can't be badasses.
Are you sick and tired of Mary Sue characters ruining movies and television? If you thought The Last Jedi was a piece of shit, you'll love The Project, a new series from the makers of Serial Rabbit and the second to last worst day of my life.
I'll kick you ass all the way back to whatever backwoods town you came from.
Vampires, hot chicks, demons, and real science. What's not to love?
You're 120 pounds soaking wet. It's physics.
Check out the pilot episode on Amazon Prime. A link is in the description.
What do you want, Mike?
The end of communism and a libertarian president. Other than that...
What's up, faggots? There's Pop here, Redonkulous.com. And it's a whole new year. But it's the same old bad Pop. And I have a whole menagerie of alcohol prepared, and I got a whole slew of bad news for Josh's stepmom. Y'all don't know who I'm talking about, and I'm not gonna use his last name, but I am sure as hell gonna respond to his email. Gentlemen, this is gonna be a bumpy ride, so everyone pick up your shot and drink with me. Yeah.
What's up, Pop? I am typing this email for you to respond to a family member, stepmother, that is confused and upset about Redonkulous.
Oh my God, a woman upset at my show. Oh, the calamity. Space Ghost.
Also, I am very familiar with your video.
Escuchas, do you believe in destiny?
Family, no one even knows I'm alive.
We do, Lilith. Mother of demons.
What's the plan? Obviously, Lilith knows we're coming now.
We are to battle Lilith and her minions. We need to be more surgical, more precise, more intelligent. I want to start the beta project. I want 4 very skilled women.
Well, who doesn't? First one is a girl named Joy Malone. Strong, has a hell of a left hook, plus she can run a long con like nobody's business. Smuggler by the name of Amanda Jarvis Cortez, AJ to her friends, one of, if not the best smugglers in North and Central America. Next, runs with AJ, goes by the name of Worm, as in book.
Always been a rebel.
You don't have any guns?
No.
Next is our very own Menka.
I do have a couple of grenades, though.
Menka from accounting?
When you say you're in accounting? Yes. I mean, admittedly, not a very good one.
I'm Mike Lorenzo, and this charming soul is Rose. We belong to an organization known as The Project.
You morons! You led them straight to me!
The men you encountered tonight, they're not human. They're the children of an old and very powerful family of ancient creatures. We know them only as the Old Ones.
What do you want me, though?
We want you to fight.
Who the hell are you?
I'm the one that's gonna try to prevent you from getting killed.
You wanna kick my ass? I'm right here. Kick my ass.
Videos and a huge following. Thank you, Pop.
You're welcome.
So I have some complicated questions to ask.
All right, complicated. I could do that. Let me get some beer, some whiskey. Bring it.
I have a supporting stepmother, non-feminist.
Oh, whoa, wait. I'm gonna stop you right there. Normally I don't do this, but I'm gonna issue you a disclaimer. What I'm about to tell you might piss you off a little bit because it is about your dad. This woman is your stepmother. That means your father was married before and he should know the deal. But he put his neck in the news for a second time, and that tells me he's an idiot. Space Ghost is on. Is it all his fault? Hell no. But I did make a video about it. Check it out. Because any predatory female who's playing the field for divorced dudes knows what the fuck she's doing. And she knows that any divorced guy is not gonna write a check against a feminist. And you wanna know what happens after that? She lies her fat ass and cellulite-ridden thighs off. Yeah.
What's up, Pop? I am typing this email for you to respond to a family member, stepmother, that is confused and upset about Redonkulous.
Oh my God, a woman upset at my show. Oh, the calamity. Space Ghost.
Also, I am very familiar with your videos and a huge following. Thank you, Pop.
You're welcome.
So I have some complicated questions to ask.
All right, complicated. I could do that. Let me get some beer, some whiskey. Bring it.
I have a supporting stepmother, non-feminist.
Oh, whoa, wait. I'm gonna stop you right there. Normally I don't do this, but I'm gonna issue you a disclaimer. What I'm about to tell you might piss you off a little bit because it is about your dad. This woman is your stepmother. That means your father was married before and he should know the deal. But he put his neck in the news for a second time, and that tells me he's an idiot. Space Ghost is on. Is it all his fault? Hell no. But I did make a video about it. Check it out. Because any predatory female who's playing the field for divorced dudes knows what the fuck she's doing. And she knows that any divorced guy is not gonna write a check against a feminist. And you wanna know what happens after that? She lies her fat ass and cellulite-ridden thighs off.
What? Not me. I'm not a feminist. I don't identify with that. That's just silly.
Josh, you probably already know this. And if you don't, you suspect it. Your stepmom has ulterior motives here. Don't you dare trust a motherfucking thing that she has to say. In fact, when it comes to women, don't you dare trust what they have to say, period. Look at their actions. Judge them by past actions, not by the lip service you're receiving, and not the kind you get on the Peg D.
I have a supporting stepmother that wishes to know how is the MGTOW community a positive influence on me? Let me explain. I am 27 years old, I was diagnosed with high-functioning Asperger's, and I've never had a serious relationship with a woman.
Shocker, wanna smell it? No. Sorry, but that's just the way it is, man. I served with dozens of dudes who had Asperger's, and they did just fine. And some of them were magnificent. But there's a reason why these guys do pretty well in the military. Because when you put those people in a situation with a set routine, military, they do quite well. But in the real world, there is no set routine and you just do what you can. Now listen, I'm not spreading rumors here. That's not me. But people with Asperger's have a hard time with, I don't know, emotions. So when you take somebody with Asperger's and you put them with a woman, that's gasoline and fire right there, and it's gonna blow the fuck up. So Josh, you got my sympathy. Just a little bit from my cold, black, dead heart. And one, because I know you can beat this. And how do I know that? You're smart enough to watch this show, so here's to you, brother.
As she sees it, MGTOW is a female hating group that bashes any and all women.
Wait a minute. Didn't she just say she was a non-feminist? I think we see some true colors coming out here.
MGTOW also is biased, as she stated, after I explained the way society treats men.
Let's get this straight here. You told your stepmother the truth about how men are treated in society. But you learned that from MGTOW videos, and somehow that makes it biased. And this woman says she's not a feminist. I just need me some more food.
For example, I asked her, why can women hit and abuse men and get laughed at, but when a man hits a woman, the white knights come rushing in and support the woman regardless?
That's a valid point. And we've seen social experiments prove this over and over again.
She responded, if men are so mistreated, then why are men going out and breaking into homes and raping women on the streets, and you never hear about women doing the same?
You fucking conniving stepmother. You better buckle the fuck up, because I'm gonna blow your shit right out of the goddamn water. First of all, we live in a country where our president gets 90% negative coverage from the media. On top of that, when a woman commits the same crime as a man, she's only gonna get 1/3 of that time in jail. Not to mention these wonderful stats that come from our very own CDC. Links in the description, bitch. And those stats prove that men are raped at equal amounts, if not more, than women. And when you add in the prison population, that statistic goes through the roof. There is no comparison. But you don't fucking hear that. Also, the rape rate in this country has plummeted so much,
I don't see it.
Feminists claim it's 1 in 5 women. We've already debunked that, and I made a video about it. Here it is. feminists claim it's 1 in 5 women. We've already debunked that, and I made a video about it. Here it is. The real number, 0.6%. And that deserves a shot at the fact that the feminists actually lied to us for so long, and we're all believing it. And you want to know what's even funnier than that? Your non-feminist stepmother believes that shit. But I'm going to tell you something she won't believe. Men are far more likely to be assaulted on the streets than women. And men are far more likely to be accused falsely of sexual assault. Women? No. In fact, the Uniform Crime Report proves this beyond a shadow of a doubt. In fact, 25% of all sexual assault allegations are complete bullshit. But those are just the ones that get tested by DNA and the man is exonerated. On top of that, an additional 27% recant the statement once they're forced to take a polygraph. That gives a possible false accusation rate of 52%. That's kind of a far cry from that 2% the feminists are trying to sell you now, isn't it?
And everybody, down to the president, down to VAWA, down to Now, down to Time Magazine, down to the Young Turks, every single one of them has repeated a statistic that was written in the 1970s in a book.
I'm sure your stepmom is gonna report me with all of the unreported cases, right? There's a simple problem with that, and it involves using logic and reason. They're not reported, therefore they can't be quantified. And surveys given by feminist organizations, they don't prove shit. All they prove is the feminist belief that attempting to kiss a woman is the same thing as raping her.
Ain't the same fucking ballpark. It ain't the same league. It ain't even the same fucking sport.
Oh, but wait. You were talking to me about MGTOW being biased, right? Fuck off. Now, I'm not saying there aren't any woman-hating individuals in MGTOW. I'd be stupid if I said that. But shit, woman-hating fools goes all the way back to the Little Rascals. But that does not make the MGTOW movement a hate movement. And it doesn't invalidate the points that they make because they have a couple of chuckleheads out there. Even if they were, they don't have the backing of the media and the government now, do they? They're not the ones passing federal legislation that specifically benefits women. Oh, that's right, the big lie of feminism. It's for everyone, right? Yeah, right, fuck off. We have proved over and over again in this show that feminism doesn't give a damn shit or fuck about men. And every single thing they tell you is a propaganda lie. But yeah, right, yeah, you know, us MGTOW are the ones that are biased, right?
This way, finally sink in.
Who is Uncle Nick? He's the uncle you wish you had. He's a cigar-smoking, aviator-wearing, liquor-loving punk. His own family won't take him anywhere because he's a walking megaphone of scathing opinion. Check out Diary of a Misanthrope on Amazon.com today. A link is in the description.
She asks, why are more women hospitalized when it comes to domestic violence and physical harm?
Before I answer that, I'm going to tell you about a study out of Harvard University. That study concluded